Woodsong by Gary Paulsen, Day 8. It must be the same as going to the moon, crossing the interior of Alaska by dog team. After a time, it seems the team isn't moving, that the country, the tundra, the endless grass and shallow snow are rolling by beneath us, and we are standing still. So unchanging is the country. Flat, gently rolling, it is stultifying. Running through the night to get to the cabin, Wilson has started to do a new thing. He falls over. When it first happened, I was worried that something was wrong and ran forward to attend to him. I put him on his feet, and his tail wagged, and he was all right, and we took off. And 30 yards, he fell over again. Once more, I put him on his feet, and we set out. Over he goes. Finally, I realize that the boredom is too much, and he is falling asleep while running. I pet him and sit next to him for a time, but he won't sleep to rest. Only while we run. So he isn't tired, just bored, and once more we set off. I watch him with my light, and when his back starts to weave a bit, I say softly, "Willie," and he awakens, and is fine for 40 or so yards. Then he does it again, and I say it once more, and through that long night, every 40 yards, I say, "Willie," and it works. We keep moving, and everybody stays happy. During the night, I pass teams, and they pass me. Finally, in the morning, the team stops at a small caved-in cabin. It is not a checkpoint, but a good place to rest the dogs. Inside the cabin, a man I passed, and who passed me later, has a fire going in the stove. So I hang my clothes to dry and make tea. We are sitting and drinking when he asked me if I ran all night. Yeah. Twice somebody went past me in the dark, he said, looking for somebody named Willie. I wonder who that was. I shrugged. I have no idea. This man had seen me running while Wilson sucked his foot. I thought there was no sense in making it even worse. And that ended Day 8. Day 9. We pass through the ghost town of the Iditarod, which is set up as a checkpoint. I pull the team alongside the river to rest them under some overhanging willows. The dogs and I are sitting by a fire when a plane lands right next to me and a man gets out. "Somebody told me you have big dogs," he says, looking at my team. "I guess so. Big and slow. I have a female wolf in the plane and want to breed her with some big dogs." I look at the plane more closely, and sure enough, in the back seat is a wolf. She is huge, well over 100 pounds, and has a muzzle on. I cannot believe this man has flown out here with a wolf sitting in back of him just to get her bred by my dogs. "She's in season," he offers. "The only problem is she killed 3 male dogs. I've tried to breed her too." "I'll pass," I say, and he shrugs amiably, jumps into the plane, and takes off. It is all so bizarre, I think. Perhaps I dreamt it, but there are ski marks on the snow from the landing gear of the plane. We leave at night. There are some mean hills as we leave, and they are dotted with gear dropped by rookies trying to get lighter. I see an extra pair of socks, some gloves, brass snaps, a Coleman stove, a good fur hat, which I try to grab but miss and don't want to stop for, several articles of undergarments. It seems a waste, but I find later that people from the checkpoint will come out with snowmobiles and harvest the hills as they do each year. 3 days earlier, one of my dogs had stopped eating any of the meats I had sent for the dogs, pork, lamb, beef, liver, and dry food. But she would eat the meat patties I had sent for myself, which had cheese and raisins and fat mixed in. So I gave her all my food and consequently didn't have any food at the checkpoints. Other mushers had helped me some, but a major food chain had butter and a dry beverage powder at all the checkpoints as a promotional stunt. So when I left a checkpoint, I'd take 4 or 5 pounds of butter with me. I was eating sticks of butter as I went across the interior to maintain energy. As might be imagined, I became truly sick of butter. Don't like it much yet. And when I got to the Chez Luc checkpoint, I was glad to find that the children from the school had a large pot of moose chili cooking in the council hall just for the mushers. It tasted wonderful, and I could not stop eating it. Like a wolf, I gorged, ate 19 paper bowlfuls of chili. Then I start the run up the Yukon River, and inside 4 hours, I thought I was going to die of gastric distress. At one point, it became so bad that the team stopped and looked back at me in surprise. End of Day 9. Day 10. The run up the Yukon River is horrific. 180 miles straight north into the wind, up the middle of the great river that historically is a highway across Alaska. In the summer, barges bring supplies up the river to villages. Now snowmobiles whiz by frequently as people go from one village to the next to visit. All the cold air in Alaska seems to settle in the Yukon Valley, and in the night it hits like a hammer blow, 40, 50 below and colder. Going up the middle of the river in the deep cold night is like going inside an iceberg. I cannot stand the wind. I turn backwards on the sled and hook my elbows and ride, but it's still too cold. I put on all my extra clothes, and it is still too cold. I feel the cold cutting through all the clothing. I go up to check on the dogs, but they are all right. No signs of frostbite, so we continue. There's nowhere to stop at any rate. Just ice, flat ice, and wind. We fight north the whole day, and through the night we stop to rest in the morning. At dawn, around in back of an island to get out of the wind. The cursed, cutting, tearing, soul-cutting wind. I sit on the sled with my back to the wind and let the new sun warm my face, and it is the end of day 10.